So I want you to imagine something for a second. You're standing on a beach,
Okay.
and it's perfect. The sun is out, the air is warm, you can smell the salt. But then you notice something a little strange.
Yeah.
The water pulls back. I mean, it goes further out than you've ever seen, and the
Yeah.
sand is suddenly just dry and exposed. It gets really quiet. And if you don't know what that means, you might just think, low tide.
Hmm.
But that quiet, that drawback, that's the warning sign for a tsunami. A wall of water moving at 800 kilometers per hour.
And that image, that exact moment, that's where the job market is right now. Last year, 1.1 million jobs gone. At the exact same time, companies are just pouring billions into AI. It's not a wave. It is a wall of water. And most people are, they're just standing there on the sand looking at the seashells.
It's a really powerful image. And welcome to the deep dive. Today, we are not just going to talk about AI technology. We're not talking about the newest chatbot. We're looking at a blueprint for your own survival, for thriving, really, in a world that is shifting right under our feet.
Right. And our mission for this deep dive is super specific. We want to move you from what the source material calls the flood zone, and that's where like 99% of people are, to the high ground.
The top 1% who adapt.
Exactly.
So we have a roadmap. First, we're going to look at something called the rail test to figure out how safe you are right now.
A quick diagnostic.
Then a framework called script versus strategy for your actual workday. And finally, we'll get into the specific tools and the 3 R's you need to, build a career fortress.
We have to get tactical because that water is coming back, and it is coming back fast.
So let's stay with that metaphor for a second. The flood zone versus the high ground, it feels a bit dramatic, doesn't it? Is it really that black and white?
It feels dramatic until you look at the economics of it. I mean, the source puts it so bluntly. If your job can be done 100% on a computer, you are in a direct fight with AI. And here's the really hard truth. You're fighting a robot that costs, pennies to operate, and it never sleeps.
I have to admit, when I read that, it really gave me pause.
Yeah.
I think we all have that late night worry, right? I know I do. I'm sitting there wondering, could a machine do my research faster? Could it structure my thoughts better? It's a very human feeling.
Oh, totally. I think everyone feels that little hum of anxiety. But the high ground, it isn't about becoming some computer genius overnight. It's not about learning to code. It's about positioning.
Positioning?
Yeah. The people who get wiped out are the ones who try to compete with the machine on the machine's terms. The high ground is where you do what the machine just can't.
So how does a listener know where they stand right now? Am I on the beach or am I on the hill?
That's where the rail test comes in. It's like a 50-second diagnostic.
Okay, RAIL.
Yep. 4 questions, and if you answer no to 2 or more of them, you're in the danger zone.
Okay, let's walk through them. What's R?
R is for revenue. Does your work make money from real customers right now?
So not potential money or future money.
Exactly. We've all been on those projects that are in eternal beta, right? Or the department that's just researching. In this new economy, if you aren't tied to actual money coming in the door, you're vulnerable. AI lets companies cut the fat with, surgical precision.
That seems harsh, especially for people in, say, R&D or long-term strategy.
It is harsh. But the window for just pure research without a clear path to application, it's shrinking fast.
Okay. That brings us to A, acceleration.
Right. Can you deliver value to a user in 2 weeks?
2 weeks. Wow. I mean, that seems incredibly fast for most big companies.
It is. But speed is the new currency. If you're on a 6-month cycle to ship a simple update, some AI-assisted competitor is going to do it in 6 days. If you can't move fast, you are standing still. And if you're standing still, the wave hits you.
Right. Okay, so speed matters. What's I?
I is for in-market. Is the thing you're working on actually being used, or is it just sitting on a shelf? Is it a hobby, or is it a real business?
Let me push back on that a little. What if my market is internal? My boss is the consumer of my weekly report. Does that count?
Ooh, that's a dangerous gray area. The source argues that internal validation is, it's often political, it's polite. Oh, great report, thanks. But real market feedback from a paying customer, that's honest. It's brutal. If you're only serving internal people, you are much closer to the flood zone than you think.
Okay. And finally, L.
Learning. Are you learning from real customer mistakes every single day?
Every day.
Yeah. This is so crucial. AI models update constantly. If you're working off a playbook from 3 years ago or even 6 months ago, you're becoming obsolete. You have to be a learning machine yourself.
Revenue, acceleration, in-market learning, it's pretty tough filter. So
Yeah.
if that test comes back red, if you realize you're in that danger zone,
hmm
where's the safe ground?
You have to climb. You got to get to what the source calls layer 3.
Layer 3. Okay, walk us through this map, because when people talk about AI, it's usually all about the big models or the chips.
Right, so picture the AI industry like a pyramid. 3 layers. Layer 1, the foundation, that's infrastructure,
The hardware.
the hardware. The chips, the data centers. This is NVIDIA's world, the trillion-dollar club.
So we should ignore that.
Unless you have a few $billion lying around, yeah. Just ignore it. It's too expensive.
Okay, fair enough. Layer 2.
Layer 2 is the models. This is where your OpenAI, your Google, your Anthropic, this is where they live. They're building the brains. ChatGPT, Claude.
And it feels like that's where everyone wants to be, right? Everyone wants to build their own model.
And that is the trap. It is so crowded. And it's so hard to win. You're fighting absolute giants. The margins there are just going to race to zero. But then there's layer 3,
Yeah.
the application layer.
The app.
This is it. This is the big chance. This is where you use the intelligence from layer 2 to solve a really boring, specific problem for a normal person.
Why is that safer? Why isn't it just as competitive?
Because context is everything. See, OpenAI knows a little bit about everything generally, but it doesn't know the specific zoning laws for some small town in Ohio. It doesn't know the workflow of a dental practice in London. Layer 3 is all about taking that general brain and applying it to a very specific mess.
So the opportunity isn't building the brain. It's like being the therapist who helps the brain deal with a specific patient's problem.
Precisely. And there are 3 huge opportunities here. First is specific apps, solving those deep niche problems. Second is service and setup, just being the person who holds an old school company's hand and teaches them how to use AI. And third is data help, just cleaning up the mess of information so the AI can even use it.
It really reframes it. You don't have to build the rocket ship. You just have to know how to fly it for someone.
Whoa. I mean, just imagine the scale of that. We're not fighting the model builders. We're literally standing on their shoulders. You can take the smartest intelligence in human history and use it to help a local shop owner. That's massive.
So once we're in that right layer, in layer 3, how does our day-to-day work change?
We have to separate script from strategy.
Okay, this script versus strategy idea, I want to dig in here. Because most jobs are a mix, aren't they?
Oh, yeah, it's a mix, but the ratio is shifting, right, violently. The script parts, those are the boring, repetitive tasks.
Yeah.
Typing data into a spreadsheet, writing the same basic email update over and over, summarizing meeting notes. It's anything that follows a set of rules.
That's strategy.
Strategy is the human stuff. It's creativity, empathy, figuring out why a client is upset, not just reading their email. It's building trust. It's connecting dots that don't seem related.
And the argument is that AI it eats the script for breakfast.
It creates this split reality. If you spend 8 hours a day just following as a script, you are in so much trouble. The robot does it faster, cheaper, and it never complains.
So the advice is to fire yourself. That sounds like career suicide.
It's the big paradox of this whole thing. You have to fire yourself from the script to save your career.
Okay, walk me through the practical steps. How do you fire yourself?
It's a 3-step plan. Step 1, check your work. Seriously, make 2 columns. Script versus strategy. And you have to be honest, if a machine could learn to do it, it goes in the script column.
And step 2?
Step 2 is the firing. You use AI to automate everything in that left column. You don't wait for your boss to do it. You don't wait for IT. You become the first person to automate your own job.
But, okay, isn't the big fear here, if I automate my job, isn't my boss just going to see that I'm doing less and, fire me for real?
That's the fear, 100%. But you have to think about the alternative. If you don't do it, a competitor will. Or a consultant will come in and do it for you. By doing it yourself, you buy yourself time for step 3, the human side. You use all that time you saved for what they call deep work.
Right. The walking, reading, thinking.
Exactly. While everyone else is just drowning in their inbox, you're the one who's actually looking at the horizon, solving the really expensive problems.
So if we automate all those tasks, what are the human traits that protect us in the long run?
It's what the source calls the 3 Rs, the things computers just can't replace.
Let's hear them.
Okay, first is rigor. Deep, deep expertise. AI is a fantastic liar. It hallucinates. It gives you plausible-sounding nonsense. Rigor is your ability to look at an AI output and say, nope, that's wrong.
So you have to be smarter than the machine just to use the machine properly.
You do. AI exposes laziness. Second R is relationships. Trust is the ultimate currency. And AI can simulate empathy, but it can't sit across from you, share a real vulnerability, buy you a coffee, and just listen. That human bond. That's what keeps clients.
And the third R.
Resilience.
Yeah.
It's the raw ability to change.
Yeah.
The tools we're talking about today might be gone in 6 months. The whole market could shift. If you crumble when your workflow changes, you lose.
Rigor, relationships, resilience. Okay, we promised some secret weapons. What are the tools?
3 specific ones. First up, Perplexity AI.
Right, for sourcing news and answers.
It's for sourcing truth. See, unlike a normal chatbot, it actually cites its sources. It shows you where the information came from. In an age of deepfakes, Perplexity is your anchor for rigor.
Got it. Okay, number 2.
Cursor. Now, don't tune out if you're not a coder. It lets you build little apps or fix data just by asking for it in plain English. It helps you pass that acceleration test we were talking about.
And the third tool?
Gamma. It makes presentations. You just type in a topic and it builds the whole slide deck formatting, images, everything. It stops you from wasting hours just moving text boxes around. It frees you from the script.
But it's not just having the tool, is it? It's how you talk to it.
That's everything. It's the prompt.
Yeah.
And the source has this consultant prompt that I just love.
How does that one go?
So you explain your problem to the AI, and then you add this line. Act like a smart consultant. Tell me why those ways might fail so I can prepare a backup plan.
Tell me why I might fail. That feels counterintuitive.
It's brilliant. It forces the AI to be critical. You don't want a cheerleader. You want a sparring partner.
So after all this, does the fear just go away?
No, but the fear turns into action.
So let's recap this whole journey. We started with the tsunami, that threat of the job market pulling back.
Yep. Then we diagnosed ourselves with that rail test. Revenue, acceleration, in-market, and learning.
And if you failed that test, the advice is to move to layer 3. You build apps, offer services, clean up data. You don't try to fight the giants.
Right. And you fire yourself from the script, all those repetitive tasks, so you can double down on strategy and the 3 Rs.
Rigor, relationships, and resilience. And you use tools like Perplexity, Cursor, and Gamma to stay on that high ground.
You got it.
The source ends with this metaphor that I think is a great place to leave people. It says, you are not a small wave that breaks, you are the ocean.
I like that. Your value isn't your job title, it's your ability to adapt.
So tomorrow morning, try that consultant prompt on a hard problem.
See what happens. See you on the high ground.
Thanks for listening.